Your respiratory system works hard, logging 20,000 breaths daily. Sometimes issues arise. Respiratory muscles are working every minute of the day, every day of our lives. Our respiratory muscles don't have the luxury of being out of shape. So how does breathing work? To better understand your respiratory system, first picture a tree. The trachea, or the windpipe, is like the trunk of the tree. From there, the airwaves divide and divide like branches of a tree. At the end of a tree's branches are leaves. Similarly, at the end of the bronchioles are alveoli, also known as air sacs, where gas exchange takes place. In the air sacs, freshly inhaled oxygen is passed to the blood, which is then pumped through the body. The air sacs also absorb carbon dioxide, which is then removed from the body through exhalation. The diaphragm is a thin muscle that separates the chest and the abdominal cavities. It tightens and moves down as you breathe in. Opens the chest cavity, allows the lungs to expand. To breathe out, your diaphragm relaxes, moves upward, and pushes the air out. Now, both the autonomic nervous system and the innate immune system were regarded as systems that cannot be voluntarily influenced. The present-day studies demonstrate that through practicing techniques learned in a short-term training program, the sympathetic nervous system and the immune system can indeed be voluntarily influenced. Inflammation and pain, metabolic activity, brain activity, mental health and stress resilience, voluntary activation of the sympathetic nervous system, and attenuation of the innate immune response in humans. We're always breathing, yet we're mostly unaware of its tremendous potential. Heightened oxygen levels hold a treasure trove of benefits, and specialized breathing techniques such as the Wim Hof method unearth all of these: more energy, reduced stress levels, and an augmented immune response that swiftly deals with pathogens. The power of breath. Combination of breathing and breathwork techniques alongside with meditation and visualization actually is connecting the mind and the body with full awareness of the positive effects within the areas of anatomy, physiology, neurology, and psychology, rewiring the central nervous system. And in doing so, breathing methods transform the current state of being by balancing the nervous system to create instant relaxation and immediately reduce anxiety and stress. Achieving a state of flow. Become conscious of your breathing to relax on demand and to perform at the highest levels. Another breathing technique next to Wim Hof method is breathology. Breath holding is one of the most powerful tools, as it is a complex mechanism that involves both the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Holding your breath triggers the mammalian dive response. This reflex is an intriguing physiological mechanism that allows the body to manage and tolerate lower levels of oxygen. Breath holding is also a potent tool in PTSD and trauma release. When you hold your breath, you learn to become comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. Once you master this, you can apply this to other aspects of your life, including ridding yourself of stress and anxiety. In order to overcome the most powerful reflex of life, the urge to breathe, one has to become completely relaxed and one with the universe. It is at this stage when you achieve flow states where time ceases to exist and you are fully submerged in the present moment. Pranayama breathing is one of the most important tools as it goes way back to the ancient yogic traditions. In fact, pranayama is the fourth limb of Ashtanga Yoga, and it's often translated as breath control, which is not wrong, but the essence of pranayama is to manage and take up prana, life force, chi, life energy, through our breath. Pranayama connects the physical world, our body, with the psychological and spiritual one represented by our mind and our subconscious. It is important to gradually move towards more challenging breathing patterns, respecting the process. Pranayama mainly involves the parasympathetic nervous system, strengthening the connection between the breath and the heart. And there are, however, various vigorous cleansing exercises that trigger the sympathetic nervous system. Hyperventilation breathing is when you hyperventilate. You increase the amount of breaths per minute. It is a heavy type of breathing that activates the sympathetic nervous system. We often hyperventilate when we exert ourselves, lifting a heavy object, doing an intense workout, or making a sprint to not miss the bus can leave us out of breath and panting for more. As our need for oxygen increases, and more importantly, carbon dioxide levels drop, our urge to breath and to breathe increases. There are many positive benefits to hyperventilation breathing on command. Hyperventilation breathing is a great way to start the day. Firing up the sympathetic nervous system through hyperventilation breathing puts your body in a state of readiness and wakefulness. You can actually gain body heat through hyperventilation. You can change your body's temperature. You create an inner fire by breathing very hectic from the lower dantian, the area around your belly. And this is also called the tomo breathing. Hypercapnic Method is a slow type of breathing that increases the level of carbon dioxide in the body. Higher levels of carbon dioxide in the body helps against asthma and a myriad of other breathing problems. This also is the underlying concept of Buteyko breathing. Carbon dioxide is more than just a waste product of breathing. It actually dilates the blood vessels, allowing oxygenated blood to flow easily to every part in our body. It also is a signaling molecule and plays an important part in the regulation of our breath. You can learn to build up CO2 tolerance through breath holding and increase the internal level of carbon dioxide in your blood. Increasing the amount of carbon dioxide through hypercapnic training can furthermore be useful to balance the pH levels of the blood. Holotropic breathwork is transformational in nature with the ability to move the mind into alternative states of consciousness. The foundation of holotropic breathwork was laid by Stanislav Grof, a psychiatrist that in the 60s and the 70s developed this system as an alternative to psychotropic drugs in order to explore, to heal, to gain insight into human psyche. Achieving a different state of consciousness can be helpful in letting go of anger, fear, and even trauma. For this, holotropic breathwork is often used in combination with therapy. Another example of holotropic breathwork is rebirthing. This is achieved by having breathing and heavy breathing for a prolonged period of time until your mind starts to open up. Some people are able to place their mind to when they were born and experience a rebirth to rid them of traumas experienced in early life. Coherent breathing is another tool, and it's the new kid on the block. It offers a more scientific approach to breathing, designed by Stephen Elliott. Coherent breathing is centered around the concept of slowing down the breath to about 5 breaths per minute, which is considered the optimal frequency. The research is still in the infancy, but the early results are very promising, as this type of breathing has positive results in reducing the effects of insomnia, stress, depression, anxiety, ADHD, and PTSD. An important aspect of coherent breathing is the notion that HRV, heart rate variability, which is the manner of which electrical impulses move across the heart, is a result of sinusoidal rhythm in the blood, the waltz of a wave produced by the diaphragmic breathing. So benefits: increased energy, natural anti-inflammatory, better sleep, heightened focus and determination, improved sports performance, increased willpower, reduced stress levels, greater cold tolerance, faster workout recovery, enhanced creativity, stronger immune system, autoimmune disease relief, arthritis relief, fibromyalgia relief, COPD management, asthma management, lower blood pressure, improved mental health, relieved stress, burnout recovery, boosted concentration, increased happiness, improved creativity, breathing. Specific, focused, intentional breathing methods. Pursed lip breathing, diaphragmic breathing, breath focus technique, lion's breath, alternate nostril breathing, equal breathing, resonant or coherent breathing, Sitali breath, deep breathing, humming bee breath, Buteyko breathing, the Pepworth method, Kapalbhati breathing, box breathing, the 4-7-8 breath. Breath makes you wonder. No one has ever really taught us how to breathe. We just started breathing, and from that moment on, we never really stopped to think about it. And we definitely took it very much for granted. It is more than obvious. It is one of those all-important keys in life. Truly, breath is life.